This is, I mean, I don't know if anyone has ever been able to get, I mean, I don't think there's any other restaurant podcast in Syracuse, but I don't think anyone has ever been able to get two people like yourselves on camera or on a microphone at the same time. This is...
They've tried. They've tried. Yeah. We couldn't always get Sean to wake up in the morning. No. Come on. I used to be on Big Mike. Yeah, right. I used to be on Big Mike in the morning every Thursdays for almost 3 years.
Oh, really?
Sunny 102. I think you were still in diapers then. It was in 2003.
You know, I was.
But
I was slaving away at the Marks Hotel at the time.
For sure. But yeah, I think this is kind of an interesting thing. Sean and I have known each other for quite some time, and we've had the opportunity to work together in some excellent establishments. We've actually looked at some places to open up. We thought about taking over a couple places. The dynamics between the two of us are outstanding. So it's still a dream that's in the
works.
Well. Either it depends on how you
right.
think. It hasn't come through for fruition.
You've been at the precipice 10 times to sign contracts, and something changes in the ordeal or the deal. And so instead of just getting a brick and mortar and being like, yeah, let's just throw something on the wall and hope it sticks, I'm too OCD with that. He's the fly by his seats pants type of guy, just like I am on some retrospect. But it's like we've already discussed if it's not going to work out for us, the deal's not going to be beneficial for all said parties. And we're going to be the sweat equity. We're going to be in there in the 100-degree days.
Well, that's
7 days still
that
working.
Is the thing. It's the yin and yang, the difference between the two of how different.
We're very similar. I'm going to interrupt you. Salud. First of all, we don't do this.
Cheers.
Salud.
Yeah. All right, Sean, I'm going to have you bring your mic a little closer.
Yes, sir.
The plus side is that we did look at a lot of different places. But the difference between his mindset and my mindset, and he joked and he said something about the seat of your pants. 2003, I opened up Gentile's on a credit card in a dream, and it lasted for 15 years. And I mean, I'd still be going, believe it or not, if it wasn't for some outstanding circumstances. Liquor license thing was the
that's going to drive me nuts.
Was the determining factor on that. But yeah, we've it's soon to come. I hope something's going to change. You know?
That's how Toss and Fire opened, was just on his credit card.
Yeah.
Those days that you could do that with how he did it on Burnett, though, you can't do that anymore unless you got a black AMX one. That's
big line of credit.
You can do whatever you want. Here's fuck you, buddy.
All right, so let's jump right into that real quick. So, some big restaurants are for sale right now in Syracuse.
Yeah,
and then I'm noticing that there's people that have been in the industry, chefs who've been in the industry for 5-10 years, whatever, who are now, instead of opening up their own thing and trying to go get a $500 million loan to open up a legit restaurant, they're doing like a ghost kitchen and taking over another restaurant when it's closed, opening up like a really shoestring budget food truck, whatever the case is. They're opening up tiny places that are off the beaten path, but they're trying to do food that way.
Agreed.
And I think it's definitely, we've had this conversation a million times. When we were coming up, he's 10 years my senior, right? Sorry.
It's all right, man. I'm fine with that. It's like a bottle of wine. It just gets better with age.
And then ferments and gets nasty and old and stagnant.
Are we going to stay on point about this brick and mortar place?
So listen, back when he had that opportunity to do Gentile's on Burnett, you could rack $80,000 on a card.
Yeah.
I mean, $80,000 back then was a
I also would like to interject with that. See? Not only the $80,000, but I didn't have a bidding war going on against that building.
Well, that's where I'm getting at. Would you let me finish?
Yes, I would love to.
It's like grumpy old men.
I know,
over
but
here.
sometimes it's a long story to get to that story.
Shut up. Anyway, so you can't do that. You could take over a cafe or something like that, right, for a very minimal budget. But even now, that's $200,000 minimal budget. You can't even get your first, the fluff account is what we call it. If you don't have 6 months worth of labor, 6 months worth of food costs, 6 months worth of oh shit, the cooler went down today. That's $2,000 to fix that, or buy a new unit. Is that $10,000 now?
Agreed.
Everything is just crazy. So you could do a shoestring, and I've watched tons of guys be successful with it, and just hey, let's do this one. I got to fix the fryer this week. That's my profit for the week.
Yeah.
But it's a little different now from that time frame. If you go in and you try to get a restaurant the size of whatever, Citronelle, Amore, where you're between 80 to 140 seats, right? You're looking at a build out of $500,000. That's just the equipment. That's the kitchen. That's the hood system. That's not even your first food order, right? The first food order to fill a whole restaurant is probably 20 grand.
I was going to say, that's not even alcohol.
And that's not even the alcohol portion of it. So the food and wine, the beer and wine, the beer and liquor. Some people don't put the liquor license on it because that's an extra $5,000 right there. The beer and wine license, seven. Yeah, 7 now. Holy shit. So yeah, you're looking at, just to get a license.
It's big money.
It's big money.
But my thing is the real estate issue is the issue. We could talk about a place that's up on Erie. It could be on Erie Boulevard. It could be anywhere. You go in there and you want to find out how much it is. It's $300,000, and as soon as they get that number out there, all of a sudden there's 5 other people that are involved. So now it's selling for $475,000.
Right.
Well. Bring them to the table. Let's talk about this. Or is it all something that's just happening because they know this is what's going on with the market? You buy a house right now, it does the same thing, right?
Right.
House goes on. A house shouldn't be selling for $200,000, maybe $150,000 for where it's located, but they're getting $225,000. Why is that? Because of the way the market is right now. So there's so many places that are open that I've actually called about. The old Pizza Hut over in Mattydale. Yeah. It had right in front of Big Lots. Oh, yeah. It has a gorgeous parking lot. I liked it because of the parking lot. I wanted to take it, turn it into a restaurant, believe it or not, a small little steakhouse. Hamburg, steaks, and make it something cool, but with an outside deck. Someone just took it over. And I think they're turning it into Middle Eastern food. Place up on Route 11. Used to be a diner there. Just one bite. Yeah, right. Someone took that over. I looked at that place too. There was a freestanding building right next to it that went with it. They turned it into apartments. They're going to have a restaurant down below. I mean, the problem is, my question is, the people that are coming in, if I'm wrong here, I'm sure he'll correct me. And I'm not using statistics. I'm not using numbers. But I moved here in 2001 in Syracuse area. And I remember I introduced myself to every restaurant owner that I could possibly think of. And there was 31 Italian restaurants that I went to. And some of which were pizzeria restaurant, but 31. Yeah. Now, if you could name 7 that are considered an Italian restaurant, Italian-American, I would be...
That's so funny. I was literally just trying to make that list last night.
Yeah. I mean, I could rattle off 5 right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is I can rattle off 25 Asian restaurants. I can rattle off 7 Mediterranean. And diversity is fantastic. I love that about it. But in the same token... this clientele that's coming in and is able to put in an Asian restaurant or a Asian infused or whatever, they have the money to do so. Whereas right now, both of us have been working I've been working for the last 38 years. You've been working for
26.
26. I mean, believe me when I say I've got some equity, but I'm not willing to take that shot right now unless it's something that we're
solidified, right?
Yeah. When you say solidification of something,
I'm talking 100%.
Yeah.
Like this, I lost my business in COVID.
Yeah,
and
I know you did.
And you start questioning yourself, like, hey, listen, it was in the back of my best friend's bar. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's kind of like where you were just saying, business is business, right? Like the fried chicken, Steve Samuels up here at the other bar. Yeah. And then you got the guy that's doing the burgers that you said you went to the last time. Yeah. And it's all awesome food. And when we were coming up, location. Yeah. Now, not so much. You could put a restaurant in a vault. And I guarantee you the 20 people that you serve a night.
Listen, I'm sure if I did like a underground speakeasy here bro. And just did cocktails, I'm sure I would make a little bit of money.
I'm sure it would be a lot of money.
That was something that we did.
Let's put a kitchen in here. We'll do some hors d'oeuvres and tapas.
I lived in North Carolina. We used to have this thing called Guerrilla Cuisine. And we would do pop-up dinners, and it would be local restaurants. And we would go to one time it was in an art gallery. One time it was in the middle of a winery. One time it was at all different places. And when you have 3 chefs that come in and prepare 2 courses apiece, it doesn't matter where we're located. It's all about the experience and the ambiance. Yeah. You have the local wineries from New York State. We'll do it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to rent the tables and chairs, and we'll bring it in. My thing is doing something like that creates a whole different...
Well, not to interrupt you, but I'm gonna.
Whole different mindset.
Sorry.
Right? No, go ahead.
Yeah. There's a documentary, 42 grams, right, or whatever. Yeah. That's great. Forget the backdrop of what happened between him and his wife. If you watch, I told you to watch it. If you watch that,
never told me.
Yes, I did. When we were asked,
42 grams.
42 grams. It's 2 people's souls. They weigh 21 grams apiece. Shut up.
Okay. Well, guess what? 14 years ago. 14 years ago was Asti. I can't remember that. I have a reset every night.
It's a great documentary. It's guys. I'll shut up. Exactly. I'll give you this backdrop, you old fuck. It's the guy in Chicago.
You're gonna have to remind me in 5.
I'm gonna. This guy in Chicago, young kid. He's worked at all these great guys.
Yeah.
He's the epitome of the gastronomy and all the other food stuff that's coming up 10, 15 years ago, right?
Okay.
So he takes a little place, turns it into a 7, 11, 15 course, 20 course meal, and he all started out of his little hotel or apartment. I call it hotel because in my mind it looked like one, and he would serve 8 people. And they would have a 20-course tasting menu, so it'd be like $2,000 for the night per person. He'd do it once a month. The guy's beyond phenomenally talented. The problem is he had an issue with the stress because he got a 2 Michelin star rating on his first rating, which 75% of people don't even get 1%.
Yeah,
1 star. Sure. So this kid got the recipe real quick, and then he went real down real quick because he had an issue with his wife where it was confrontational, et cetera, et cetera. So he got blackballed, and he moved from Chicago to a different city, and it happened there again because he just got blackballed. But my point is, if you watch the documentary, that's what I was telling you last time. That's the thing. Most chefs can't even peel a scallop out of an actual shell. They don't know how to debeak a calamari. Most of these kids don't know how to do that. It's not that they won't learn, but I'm just talking about the sincerity, the love, the passion, the fruition to go through a situation, whatever, forget the other stuff, but to start a restaurant like that in that big of a scene, that's like New York City. Just, you know,
that's a
and so that's all I'm saying is the passion and the dedication behind it.
I just had this guy.
Soda bottle.
I just had this guy. Well, he's the chef at Eden.
Love Rich. He's a great dude.
So
very talented.
I just had Derek in, his sous chef, exact whatever. Derek was just in here this morning on the podcast.
Oh, nice.
Who
double dipping on us, huh?
He,
What's this?
Yeah, I drank a bottle of beer with him, a barrel-aged beer with him, and now I'm having a fucking bottle of wine.
We're good.
I have to drive to fucking Oneida after this. Anyways.
Hey, you don't say
Uber.
that. That's legal.
Uber. Don't admit it.
$75.
He got into cooking, like he was into cooking, but he was cooking at home, never worked in a restaurant. And then
talking about that.
He started working at Eden like during COVID when they first opened, and like when they were like just quietly opening during COVID.
Right.
But that's his restaurant experience is Eden.
There's nothing wrong with that one.
No, not at all.
That's a good one.
It's incredible. It's
right.
It's astounding that like that's his job. But like he's in there making what I would consider some of, if not the highest, fanciest, highest quality food in downtown Syracuse.
Oh, I would just say all of Central New York because since St. Urban's gone.
Yeah.
Max is Max at Lemongrass, but there's nobody trying to push the envelope like that except, what's the place we looked out at in Geneva? The old shop there, it's right across from the movie theater, the old 1860 movie theater. Anyway, that's the only place I can think of. I can't think of their name, but they do a farm to table where it's 2 long tables, like 30 feet long. Cool. So you sit down as communion style, and you're fed. Like certain nights, they don't have a select menu, an a la carte menu. It's just tasting menu. They did this. Oh, it wasn't with you. It was with somebody else.
No, I was going to say, I don't remember that place.
So that building was kind of like the same concept I had in my mind because out in Geneva, there's a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money, right? And then they love food out there, and the Finger Lakes was just starting to boom 20 years ago.
You remember that conversation I had with you? This is when I know. Well, that's fine, but I mean, we'll go check that place out together. I'd love to see it. When I was on Burnett, there was a house on James Street right across from the church, and I wanted to take this house over. And when you walked into the house, I was going to live upstairs, and then the living room, or I guess it would be the front room, living room, dining room area, I could have held 24 seats with a long table. And the goal is every Thursday night,
you do that
twice a month, I was going to offer a dinner there for 24 people, set different menu each time, and whatever they paid, we put it in the center, and it was donation for a specific charity. That's cool. And we would pick the charity. Each night we would pick it out of the people that were there, and it was basically kind of that whole concept of that guerrilla cuisine. Like we're taking something and doing it in a house, and we're not in a restaurant setting, but the food is going to be the same, if not better. I could not get the city to approve me to have parking. It was like because we were on James Street, and I could only fit 5 cars in the driveway. So I went through everything. It was literally across the street. I asked the school, can we park here? I was going to get a golf cart, bring people across the street. It was a nightmare. My thing is when people do stuff like that and get involved in places like that, there's so many other things that get involved.
And pop
like
up.
the average, I mean, we could say cook. We don't have to say chef. I get it. But I don't think they understand at the end of the day what goes into the start to finish, all of the dynamics of what takes a restaurant running. When you think of a sip straw, you think of a Bevnap, you think of a coaster, you think of everything is bought and paid for by the owner. And when they're throwing things away or constantly using something, using a towel instead of a paper towel when something spills, and it's just money being wasted.
Yeah.
We were just having breakfast, and I watched the cooler door stay open, and I almost was going to say, shut the cooler. Like, it's in my blood to say something. I said something to him. I said, oh, my God, if we were at my place, I would have yelled at him.
What are you doing?
Shut that door. But my point is like there's so many wonderful dynamics. And yes, when it comes to that part of it, he does know all that because, the numbers thing. You think about the did you fall asleep for a minute?
No, I was zoning in on that. I was thinking of how many eggs it actually took to make those 3 omelets. No, it was 12. It was definitely 12. That was a 6-ounce omelet. I'm sorry.
See that?
That's where my brain goes. I'm like, yeah,
So you like that. I saw that, right?
I zoned right in on it.
How much- there was about 2 ounces of ham?
There's the ACD or OCD. Now here comes the ADHD part.
You can list as
Oh
many
my God.
numbers as you want, labels, alphabet, the whole alphabet. He's got it all. But it is what it is. And I still will argue about that 9 eggs, 3 egg omelet. Go ahead. What's the next question? I know you got them.
I mean, I'm just sitting here.
No, we
like,
just talk, bro. That's all it is.
You talk. Listen,
He's
you are
a
the
rambler.
only.
I go, bro.
You
I go.
hold the record for the fewest amount of times I've clicked buttons on a podcast, which I am beyond grateful for.
You're talking camera view.
From the from the episode we did. Most of
sorry.
the time, I'm sitting here doing this all the time. On your episode, I think I did it like twice.
3 times. I counted. It was 3.
I was going to say you did count because you did mention to him, oh, don't worry, I'm just switching the camera.
Yeah.
Right.
And I said, oh boy, he's
like-
counting.
Yeah.
I know he's counting.
As soon as he said that, he saw the twinkle in my eye. Like, that's the 3rd time you've done it, bro.
And before we sat down, that's
gonna
what he
laugh.
said. He says, listen, he's going to be hitting buttons over there. Don't worry about it. It's just a camera angle. I says, what do I care?
That's hilarious.
He goes, well, it was 3 last time. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
I was as you're talking about that stuff, I'm thinking to myself, how amazing would it be to do an event in Syracuse
7.
where it like gets, maybe it's you two, maybe it's like 3 or 4 like OG chefs in Syracuse in Central New York to like come together and do, hey, we're gonna do a 6-course dinner in a farm, in the middle of a fucking farm.
I've done that a dozen times easily, but
You have, but
he has.
But has there ever been one where it's like
I would
assembled
love
all of
to
you?
do that. That would be fun.
we've had several opportunities where we've done pop-up dinners at
sorry.
people's houses. Okay, for example, when we do the philanthropic food event, which was a great event around here, we had great chefs that were involved. This is something that's no longer, but will be. I'm hoping is going to come back. We would go into houses and cook a 7-8 course meal for 10, 12 people, whatever they bid for. Just recently, we did one for me that we
your
had
benefit,
for
yeah.
when I had my benefit for the kidney transplant. I absolutely love taking the dynamics of he's at a restaurant in Manlius, I'm with Charlie Roman over at either the seafood or the steakhouse, depending on what night it is. And then you take another chef. It could be from Eden. 3 different locations. A lot of those clients are the same clients, but some of them aren't. And we take our talent and we go to a place. It could be a winery in Skinny House. It could be a winery anywhere.
Yeah.
And you do it right in between the vines. And
That's
we
beautiful to
feature
do that,
feature the wine that they offered there.
Right.
We create dishes that are based on the wine profile that we're going to use, or we can do it in a firehouse.
region, yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
care where
it
it's
doesn't matter.
located. It's based on a specific thing. And each person, each chef or restaurant has to bring just 20 people.
Yeah.
It's a 60-person night. You don't do more than that because
Right.
I don't
Oh
care
my God.
when you're
100
off
person
premise. When you're off premise, if you're at a restaurant to do 100 plated things 7 times or 14 times in a row, it's a little bit more conducive. When you're in a
Controlled environment.
a firehouse
Kitchen.
or outside, it's a little bit more difficult,
Yeah.
and you have to have that many extra plates,
Well, you
that many extra
gotta
plates.
have,
You can't
you gotta
wash
have 20
anything.
servers to drop 5 plates
Yeah.
all at once. So
It's
it's all hot.
it takes a
You
little
got-
bit more.
Yeah.
And what really sucks about this is, once again, we just talked about 3 restaurants. we're gonna do it on a Monday night
Right.
because no one wants to. I mean, you'll fill it up 3 times.
Yeah.
I guarantee in a course
Yeah.
of a year.
Yeah.
But then you hit your max. So where do they want to go? They want to go Thursday, Friday. I can't get a Thursday, Friday. Can you get a Thursday, Friday? So it's
Yeah.
that's where the
Not anymore.
I know before now that's where we fall into that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something. One of my favorite things is
We know
a
you can
Saturday.
talk and pour a drink, buddy.
Saturday, right? Saturday, every day.
I'm good right now.
No.
Every day.
That's how you're gonna roll with us, buddy.
I know, right?
You're in trouble. You're lucky to say 9 o'clock at night.
Every single day.
You don't have to be drunk.
If a Saturday night, it's a weekend, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to work on Sunday. 90% of the people don't have to work on.
Sundays.
Am I
Yeah,
right
you're
with the
right,
90%?
you're right. It's about
All right.
78, but
You see
okay.
that? Yeah, I have to do the statistics thing. So the thing is
Speed that one up.
when you have a
Yeah, it's
Saturday,
hard, I can't work
it's
it.
every single thing. Like
Yeah.
people aren't coming from work; they're not upset. They might have done something during the day. It's a great vibe.
Yeah.
Sunday or Saturday afternoon, we did something. We pulled it off at 3:00. We could still make it back to the restaurant by 5:30. We're golden.
Yeah.
My point
That's
being
not
is,
gonna
I just said he don't want to work that hard.
No.
in the morning.
You're
You know that, right?
You got 6 hours left in your tank every day.
I
all right?
have a total of 6 hours. So if I do that afternoon, guess what? Someone's gonna have to cover my
You're
shift.
done. Get out of here. You're like Fred Flintstone.
But that's I know it is.
Dumbo.
I've tried doing. I've sort of investigated how to do this stuff a little, not in this level where it's like the OGs of Syracuse. Because I'll say this first. This maybe sound morbid for the two of you,
Thanks. Thanks, buddy.
but like, and I know that there's a younger generation coming up, but you guys are a dying fucking breed.
Yo, bro, I'm 10 years. No, he's dying. I'm at the.
I'll race you to the car
I'm
right
at
now.
the mat.
You
all right?
smoke
My-
cigarette? I'm
No,
telling you, I'm healthy now.
shut up.
Kind of,
Yeah,
like,
sort of.
like I don't know of any.
cheers,
My point is, I don't know of anybody besides myself who has been trying to actively capture the stories of the OG chefs and restaurant owners in Central New York, and so, but there's like time's wasting, right? Like there's not that much time left to like try and gather all these stories.
Agreed.
Well,
Agreed.
here's
We've had some great
but
chefs that have already
here's-
passed and left
right,
us.
right.
And I mean,
Oh, shut up.
4 of them that I'm thinking of that are outstanding.
Yeah.
And some were very close friends of mine, and I mean, you know them all. The funny thing is, when you ask that question,
Yeah, but
and I'm
who's
going to bring it
really
back to the
left?
podcast.
Who's left though? I mean, I'm not talking about death or not. I'm talking about moving away, doing this. All right, listen, I am 10 years younger than you. Who cares about that? When I was coming up, it was guys like you, Hans, Jans.
Jan.
No, I'm talking about Hans Lazardi and Jans.
Yeah.
That, Brian Shore.
Yeah.
I've worked for all of them. All of them, except for you.
Right.
Oh, want to talk about that story? No, we won't. We won't go there. Anyway.
You did not work for me.
I
You worked
came
with
to
me.
you.
You're right.
No. You worked for me, mother. Yeah, get out of here.
Okay,
Anyway, so
here we go.
Listen.
Help!
Yeah.
Help! Chef Chantilly, help!
Listen.
Go ahead.
My ass.
I mean, there's
can't
still-
work this hard
Don't
no
be looking at
more.
your watch, buddy. No.
I mean, there's.
So let me answer
well,
the question. Let me finish this. Let me finish. You two are terrible
You got
Italian.
a long
This is why I'm
story.
Irish
Long
and you're
story.
Italian. I don't claim the Italian side because of this.
You just got a long story. Come on, come on.
Bring the microphone with you.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Right there.
You want me to eat it? Got it. So anyway, I'm not saying that they've all died or all this or all that, but when we were coming up, as I talked before, there was like a bunch, like a dirty dozen, we'll call them, right? And then you had a dirty dozen old fucks that were great, that we all wanted to emulate and be better than them, because that's what the next generation is, right? Like I told you last podcast, I'm best friends with him, but I'm going to stare at his face and piss on his fucking his fire hydrant,
Right.
and he'll do the same thing because we're just competitive in nature and we want to have the best food. Now, I'm not saying it's to the point of throwing punches or anything, but we've come close to like as brothers would, but. It's not in disregard to
Only
my
that one
food's
time
better.
when you almost cried
Yeah,
when we had a
okay,
lot
I
of
slammed
things.
you on your freaking bed. So anyway, it's all in good spirit, good competition, right? My mom's marinara sauce is better than your mom's. Well, as we said, there's Pomodoros, marinara, just gravy, right? Whatever. These guys that were around, some of them have retired. Some, unfortunately, have passed away, right? And a lot of them, honestly, in my honest opinion, haven't cooked the same way that they did when they were 36, 35, when they were younger.
You're
don't
correct.
give me that
No,
bullshit.
you're correct. I'm not cooking the same way I used to 10 years ago.
But it's also not your restaurant. You're not pushing yourself to do it more. You're not doing this. I know that.
He knows this, but did you know that?
Yeah.
So it's not the fact that you talk about Hans. You mentioned him twice. You worked with him.
Yeah.
I mean, God rest his soul, Jan or Brian Short.
Yeah.
Fantastic, outstanding chefs, out of the box. Ed Morrow.
Yep,
I mean,
worked for him.
God, he.
That's how I
I'm
learned how
trying
to make
think
the
of
best pasta,
One of my
honestly.
favorite chefs, who is outstanding. He used to work at the Century Club.
Oh yeah.
My God, he makes furniture. He does bee pollen. Eamon Lee.
Yeah.
Outstanding, right? You give him anything you want, he's going to make it the same exact way. My point being is, does he want to be on the line anymore?
No.
And slaving in 95
don't.
degree,
No.
getting pounded?
No,
No. But his food is outstanding.
Right.
And he still consults, and he still does a lot of things. You take these guys,
yeah.
Hansi,
He's cooking again.
He's out of Cavalry.
Yeah.
Well, he's not
Agreed,
cooking,
agreed.
but he's-
Right.
yeah.
He's there.
consulting, right. But what I'm saying is, these guys, myself, I still have the ability to go anywhere and teach. The question is, this younger class that's coming up,
They don't want to be taught.
are they ready for it? Because when we talk about breaking a piece of fish down, or we talk about breaking beef down, or using every single piece of vegetable, these kids don't care. They're used to using a scissors to cut open everything. Everything, it's different
Bags,
now.
yeah.
And with the reset, I mean, you talked about COVID the last time with the podcast. There was a reset. It is a reset in the worst nature. We've lost sight of the dollar again. We lost sight of communication. We lost sight of, what about when you used to go to a restaurant? I praised on the families when they would come in. I would sit down with the kids. I'd bring them out chicken tenders and a pineapple. Like, I would make it so that it was enjoyable for them. I wouldn't allow phones at the table in my restaurant, honest to God. If they had a little TV, something like that, I'd sit down with them, take it, and I'd start talking to them. They'd come in the kitchen with me. I swear.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Now, are you kidding me? I have workers in the restaurant business, while they're working, are on their phone 7 hours out of the 7 hours they're working. How are they learning anything from me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a different breed right now.
Yeah.
And in all due respect, you mentioned this last time. Across the nation, how many restaurants, chains that have money, are closing?
Yeah.
Is it because they can't get the help? Is it because they're not making the money? Or is it because times are changing? Everyone wants this different vibe. There are a great percentage that still want that sit down, feed me 7 courses of food that I've never had before. But in the Syracuse market, the pie is this big compared to the whole pie.
Yeah, well, I think the pie is the same. It just, there isn't a restaurant that's doing that right now.
I agree with that.
St. Urban was like one of the old. Now, listen, I'm sure, and I just had this conversation with Derek from Eden. Like, I'm sure if I walked into,
Called ahead, whatever.
If you went to Eden and said, I'm coming in, it's an anniversary, I'd like a 6-course tasting, 7-course.
I don't care the price, whatever, in a heartbeat.
They would do it in a heartbeat, but they're not doing, and not that they should be doing that. St. Urban was really the only one
designed to do it,
doing that in Syracuse proper. I don't know who exists out in the
Skinny Alice.
Nobody.
Skinny Alice, the Mirbo. The Mirbo still has a tasting of a. You could choose an a la carte menu, or you could do that. They still offer it.
Yeah, but it's trash
paired
now.
with wine.
I'll speak freely. I don't care. It's
I
trash.
don't. You can say what you want.
It's
that's
fucking trash.
Compared to when Ed was there.
It's dirtbag trash now.
Ed Morrow was at Mirbo.
Oh,
yeah,
he's phenomenal.
I was there
when
with
they
him
first
for,
opened
for 9
I didn't
months.
know that.
Oh, God.
9 months with him. I hurt my back.
It was such an outstanding experience. I mean, all his restaurants. I mean, he does a great job. He's fantastic.
I learned how to make the best pasta was from Morrow. Down in that basement kitchen.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
He does a great job. My thing is there are a couple places, but they're not 5 or 7 or 3. You can get an app, an entree, and a dessert,
yeah,
or
but
this.
even there, it's just it's a botched down whatever they have on the menu.
Agreed, but is it because? Do you remember I opened up a restaurant called Eclectic Italian, and everyone they come in. Can I have more sauce? Can I have more of this? So what do? It took me 3 years before I gave in and started to do things a little bit more American style. I wanted to be giving you an experience that you were in Northern Italy, Sicily, like all different regions I'd feature. All right? I kind of morphed. I never served a chicken parm. I never served haddock. I never did chicken franchi. So I did not go down that path. But I did change and give more sauce and did things that I knew that I wouldn't be asked for. So I did change a little bit along the way. The point that I'm saying is, when you become this eclectic place, St. Urban was outstanding. Holidays, the people that would go there, they didn't have enough seats. But on a Tuesday, they did 40 covers. Now, in that place, it's still making great money.
Yeah.
It was
That's
outstanding. I
$300 a
frequented
person,
there.
though.
I loved it. I thought they're
A
outstanding.
couple of times my wife and I went there. I mean, our bill was $1,000.
Right.
You know?
Easily.
And
Bottom line, you
in
got
my
sommelier.
opinion,
You got to be good to have a
you didn't-
real sommelier. They're
You didn't
level
walk
2.
out saying that you're still hungry. You
Right.
walked out talking about the experience. What I'd like to do is not talk about the 7 courses. What I want to do is I want to talk about one thing that I prided myself on, and I know that he's going to know where I'm going with this. When I got involved in the restaurant business, it was based on family traditions. My grandfather was an engineer. He was in World War. He was outstanding. Worked for Griffiths Air Force Base. But when it came to holidays, Anthony, I swear to God, Christmas Eve, I could still remember when I was 4, 5, 6, 8 years old, the things that he would do. He'd go to 7 different restaurants picking up food. We'd have food for 7 hours eating. We'd have presents. It was a memory. I promised myself that when I got involved and I was able to open up my own restaurant, what I was going to focus on is creating memories for people. Gentile's was based on people that remembered when they came in and ate, whether I came out and talked to them or what they had for the first time, that they had a Cheeto-encrusted veal chop. I don't care what it was. They talked about it. When you left St. Urban, you talked about how exquisite it was, the attention to detail. The servers were phenomenal. Your glass was never half. It was always, they were right there. You drop a fork. The only person I can remember that was this good about the front of the house was John Julian. You drop a fork, he's already telling someone to bring a fork to table 6. Attention to detail.
Yeah.
Memories. That's what I want to talk about. You know, we could talk about 6-course tastings, but the thing is, this younger generation wants to come in, but they want to go to 3 other places. And to be honest with you, when I travel, when I go to New York City, I go here, I have a bottle of wine and 2 appetizers. I go here, I have a bottle of wine, I have 3, and I like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't mind having people come in and doing something like that. You're still dropping $200,
Right.
and you're in and out in an hour. Fantastic.
Right.
So the 7 courses are great, and for holidays, we talked about this before. People come in and we would have a table of 12, and they would get all of the accoutrements and just serve it family style instead of it being, one after another. And we talked about all these different concepts. It may happen here in another 5 years.
It might not. You never know.
We were doing it for years. We were doing these dinners. Geez, I remember, your mother, God bless her, she stood there with me, and we created more. I wrote more menus, and she put them back and forth, and doing these wine and dines and getting chefs involved. And I remember, even with the Red Cross dinners, Wendy Thompson, saints. Women, to put up with a chef's. The worst part about it is they would call me at 7 o'clock and ask me a question about this chicken dish that I was going to do, or poussin. It was actually poussin I did. And she said, "So did you spell that right? What's the sauce you're going to have? Passion fruit?" And I'm like trying to breathe and talk at a normal pace. And I'm at 200 miles an hour, cooking for about 70 people by myself with Marcus. And this was when I was at Gentile's. And when he's calling me and asking me about and that pepper, I can't make out your
chicken scratch.
No, because I use it's cursive. If the kids even know what cursive is anymore, but
I can't even read a clock
is
on the
that
wall.
what kind of pepper is that? It's a Serrano. Wendy, can I call you back, please? And I'm holding the phone, and I'm like, oh my God. But and your mom would call me, and she's like, Kevin, you seem like you're real busy. No, Gene, what do you need?
It's Friday night at 7:30.
She wanted to come in and videotape me cutting fish, and so she could put it online, and I was shorthanded, and I'm like, I have no time to do this, but. There are things that we used to do that we can't do any longer, and there are people that put up with our bullshit that still do put up with our bullshit. It's just a lot of new things coming in this pipeline, I think. For sure.
I don't know. I mean, in Syracuse, I can't remember the last time I've had a conversation with somebody about the quality or artistry of food.
We tapped on it a little bit last time, but we didn't go down the rabbit hole.
On the podcast, it's a different story. I'm talking about going to a restaurant.
In general, right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's restaurants. There's Eden that's still exquisite. Pizza Regionale is still amazing. Abbiocco in downtown Syracuse still great. I mean, then there's other restaurants that they don't need to wow me in a culinary sense. Kitty Hoynes is still going to be great. Possibilities, right?
Yeah. But you know what you're getting when you go to them, right? It's not like when you go to St. Urban and. Even Noble Cellars, for that prime example, right? They just opened. They're trying to do the higher end mark, right? They don't have a menu online. I don't know if they do now. They didn't when they first opened the
They
last
have
couple
it on-
months.
I think they posted on Facebook, but
But that's part of my thing. I like that. I want to go there. I'm not researching what I'm going to eat before I go there. When I go out to eat dinner now, there's two mindsets, right? I go in, breakfast this morning. Unfortunately, I eat like a dog. Because 26 years of being on the line, like when you have a chance to eat, you literally wolf it down. And she's Jamie, my fiance. There you go, Jamie. Shout out to you because you said I didn't do it last time. I did it last time. Anyway,
I heard it.
Yeah,
I heard
I had to cut that part out of
yeah, you
last
probably.
episode.
Oh, yeah, probably. Oh, that's probably. Sorry, honey. That's why. Anyway, but so I go in there and I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm getting when I go into Mother's Cover. I know Nesta Goes To Diner. Love it, right?
Yeah.
Some of the best breakfast you're gonna get, pound for pound price point. When I go to Dominic's, I know I'm getting a fucking chicken parm that I'm gonna eat for 4 days.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not a cutlet like I had with my Nona.
Right.
Where it's an actual pounded out cutlet. It's paper thin. There's lemon juice on it. There's fresh basil. There's fresh Asiago that you shaved over the top. It was real cutlet. When we go to St. Urban, when I've been there once. Or maybe twice. Once for drinks, I think, real quick. And I can't remember. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. But I want that thrill of going in and saying, oh, shit, sorry. What's the menu tonight? What's the 7-course menu tonight? What's the 11-course? I don't like that. I
went in there twice, and I swear to you, they're a year and a half, 2 years apart. I went in with Renee and Tim. We sat at a table, and we had the 7-course. I could tell you everything that I had. And then I went back 2 years later with my girlfriend, and we sat at the little table in front of the kitchen, and we had several bottles of champagne. Max was there. Some other restaurant owners were there. We ended up, drinking all together. But I remember every dish. I remember, and that's what I mean by a memory. You could go in and have a great steak. You could go in anywhere and have a great piece of chicken. Yeah, but it may not be the same as what he makes or whatever. But if you had something that was great and you had a wonderful bottle of wine and the service was outstanding.
But we're a negative society now, man.
Agreed. But what I'm saying is if everything hit the mark, you're going to talk about it.
Yeah, but
maybe you're not hitting the mark every single time.
For people, though, if he has a negative experience, it's fucking 50 people because we're brainwashed to talk in negative proclamation.
The first time that I went to St. Urban, I mean, Jared met me at the host station as I was walking out, and I apologized to him because I said, "I'm so sorry you just had to waste your talent on me. I loved everything." Thoroughly enjoyed and loved every single bite that I just had. I have no idea what you just did.
Right.
I just know that it was amazing.
Yeah, but in that, though.
Here's the beauty in my perspective. He'll say his perspective. If you'd like to go first,
go ahead.
Do you see what you just said about waste? You didn't want him to waste? You talked about St. Urban 7 times since we've been in this podcast.
Oh, yeah,
So my point being is, it wasn't wasted. He basically created something that made you realize that you weren't used to eating that way.
Right.
You said it, monkey brains. He said something about monkey brains. My point being is, you may never not know if you're going to love it or not.
Yeah.
They had the capability of putting something on a plate, and I would like to say that for some time I did too. That people would come in and say, you know what, I'm just going to trust you. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, it was every Thursday, wasn't it?
It was Wednesdays. I did the quiz, Kevin. Yeah. But the thing is now it's like, if someone wants to. If I put a special on and someone doesn't want a specific thing in it, I will make it however they want it.
Yeah. If we got it, we make it.
At that 7-course tasting, you are not getting them to change that.
Yeah,
no.
Right.
I'm telling you
not
now.
unless you have an allergy, I'm not changing
Right.
it. I'm not going to change the protein
you're set
or
for
anything.
that.
No.
It's it is what it is. That's another thing that's kind of changed because how many people would get a 4-top? I have a gluten allergy. I have this.
Oh, it's all lies
that's
anyway.
kind of changed.
Celiacs lies.
Okay, all right.
But I'm just kidding.
You have to make what they want, right? So that's changed
Customer
some of
ain't
these
always
wow factors of these 7 courses and these places because they can't cater to everybody.
But, hold on. I'm going to interject on this because that brought up a memory. When we were at Aussie's when you weren't working for me. Yeah. Remember, like some.
I wish you say with you.
Yeah, I just
for you.
Whatever.
I never saw your name on that paycheck.
Yeah. Oh bullshit! You saw it on the menu.
I did. I did.
So listen, who gives a shit?
I did. It was highlighted.
There was one right in front of him, and then I had a little arrow that pointed down. Oui, chef. Anyway,
He did transform that place though. He did. He did a great
Who
job.
cares about that? It's dead.
Eggplant
It's
parm
dead.
is much
It's dead.
better.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck you. Your greens
Chicken
aren't
parm.
even
Come
not even
on,
close.
I'm
Not
kidding
even
with
close.
you.
Not even close.
I just want to see if I
Neither
can
is
throw you off your
chicken
line.
No, I already know where I'm going with this. I was
All right,
waiting
good.
for your
Go.
interjections.
You go.
So anyway, when we were working together at Aussie's.
Thank you very much. That's very
for the
nice.
old timer.
I appreciate
We'd have friends come in that were chefs, that were servers, that were managers, and part of the business, right? And they'd be like, guys, make me. It's two of you back there. Now I'm not saying we're fucking. Yeah, what's the two magicians guy?
Finkel and Einhorn.
Yeah, Finkel and Einhorn.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. Anyway, but we would make them anything. What do you want? 5, 7? Do you care
I'm
about the
gonna do
money?
the first course. You do the second.
Yeah, right. Hold on. Shut the fuck up.
But that's what we would
and
do
you
on
talk
the
about
line.
me interrupting people.
Oh please!
Yeah.
I never interrupt.
I went to. We're not going to name no names.
Bring the microphone in front of me. The microphone.
I need the
moves.
bag. I know, but I need a brown bag right now. I'm hyperventilating.
the brown bag.
Shout out to you, you brown tea bag bastard. So listen, I went to one of his restaurants that he trained a guy, and I said, "Hey, I'm not going to name no names. Make me, Jamie and I. There was another one. We were at the bar, and instead of going to the table, right, we stayed with the bartender. Kid comes out." You know who he is.
Mark.
Yeah. So he comes out and I'm like, make us anything you want. 10-course tasting menu. This kid's not a properly trained chef like us. So it's, when you do that, you're kind of putting somebody on blast. So I expect anything, and then a salad comes out, a soup comes out. Now I'm giving you full reins to do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
When another chef says that to you, make me what you want. Excuse me, make it in a tasting menu style. I don't care. I want to experience what your level of talent is. My trust is completely within your boundaries of what you feel comfortable producing.
Yeah.
And this fucking kid sends me out the normal soup, normal Caesar salad, fried calabat, and a ribeye steak. And so this is how you train this fucking kid? What the fuck? Yeah, pick it on him, right?
Yeah.
And so
He did. I remember that. I remember it like it was yesterday.
The food was all cooked properly. Everything was done correctly. The flavor profiles were hitting. Everything's there. So my point is the comfort zone. I'm tying it all in with the restaurants. Maybe a guy that's in a fucking kitchen that's working at a mom and pop's restaurant, right, who has all the uber talent in the world, never gets to shine. So if I go in there, we go in there together, hey, make what you want. Then you got guys that work at the high-end restaurants that you say that, and they give you the same dishes on the menu.
Yeah.
So it's really what the guy's comfortable at, his knowledge of food, texture, flavor, hot, spicy, whatever you want to talk about it, or if he's just being fucking lazy.
Yeah.
I'll
Because if
agree
somebody
with
does
you.
that to me, I don't give a shit if I got 50 tickets on the board and you two walk in.
Everything stops.
Everything's gonna. I'm still gonna plate everything that I'm
Everything,
cooking, but
but-
I'm gonna go out to you, talk to you guys for 5 minutes. What are you guys looking for? Seafood, this, that. Give me the general direction where you want to go.
If I go to a restaurant where I know who the chef is or
Right.
like whatever, and I trust them, then I say, I don't order. I just say whatever they
you
think
want.
I should
Right.
have
Right.
is what I'll be happy with. And that's one of the things I loved about Deefy, and that's the last thing I'm going to be nostalgic about, is they had their chef. You know, their whole thing was their challenge.
Right.
Yep.
You sat at the bar and it was like, I want the chef challenge menu. 3, 5, 7
Right,
course.
whatever.
Yep.
And my wife and I went there one night and it was like, listen, I'm adventurous. I'm a 10. Whatever you make, I'm going to enjoy. And my wife was like, I'm like not adventurous at all. And so mine was venison steak with pig's blood. And hers was just venison steak,
Right.
it was, just complete. And so, for people who are listening to the podcast, Derek and I just talked about this in the week when his episode comes out. Now we're talking about it. At one point in time, the restaurants pre-COVID that existed just in downtown, we had a Pizza Regional, a Mano,
right.
we had Deefy, we had St. Urban, and we had Eden, all to open at the same time in downtown Syracuse.
Right.
And today we have
One left. Right?
Well,
we
at
have
the same
Eden.
time, there was another one over where because I mean it's another good one at that point in time that you're speaking of, where the old Daniel Jacks was.
Kasai.
Kasai was just opening too.
Kasai,
So-
Kasai was wonderful
Yeah, but
for
Kasai
ramen.
elevated in a different way
Yeah.
I agree,
because
but
of
I'm
COVID.
just saying. I'm just saying there were a couple more that were down there at that point in time because
Daniel Jacks.
even on across from the Landmark. I hate to say I have not been in
the
there
white
yet.
one, the white restaurant there. You
Directly across from the theater.
know which one one it is. Landmark Theater right across the street. It's got the white. It's got the speakeasy underneath.
Oh my darling.
Yeah,
Oh My Darling.
Oh My Darling is great. When they first opened,
They were
their
like
chef
that, right?
was a CIA grad. I love Oh My Darling. They're on the Eat Local card. I love Ryan. I love Leanne. Blah 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 blah. But I don't think anything's changed in their
Not a
5
lot.
years.
Not a lot.
Which is a phenomenal.
The
Listen,
time that you're talking of,
They were
they
brand
just
new
were
and
brand
it
new
was
at that
exciting.
time.
And
so that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
think of the other restaurants. So at that point in time, there was about 9, right?
Yeah.
But now you're talking. You said Eden, and Oh My Darling's still there. But I mean,
Yeah.
if they listen, they still do a great job. But it's the same thing. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of new talent out there right now, and there are a lot of spaces for them.
Well, here's the other thing.
But nobody can afford it downtown.
Yeah.
Kasai and Danny Steaks closed, and the day after they closed, the guy that owns the buildings, which I think it's 2 separate owners, the rent jacked up like 30% more.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Tap House. I mean, Tap House isn't doing anything interesting in the slightest sense of the word when it comes to liquor or food, but I mean, they're open and and they're fucking deader than a doornail. Down there. I think a big part. Listen, I had a conversation. I have a client right now, not anywhere near downtown Syracuse. Makes maybe the 3rd best cheeseburger in Syracuse. The burger and fries is $21.
Yeah. Well, best cheeseburger. I mean, what's the ratio of beef? And we joke about that, but when's the last time you went to the grocery store and bought an 80-20 for under $5 a pound?
Yeah, right.
So the thing is years ago you could have a great hamburger. I love me a hamburger. Don't get me wrong.
I do a hangover burger.
Yeah.
I got pig's belly on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
love
mean,
it.
whatever.
Pork
Fried
belly.
egg. I know, but it's pork belly. Most people. It's 80-20. Some of it's house ground, some of it's not, and we mix it. We make it. It's $20.
Yeah.
That's what the going cost of a good burger
I was
is
gonna
right
say,
now.
I mean,
though.
honestly,
That's not that bad. If
even
it's
if you
his
go
third best he's
into
ever had, who cares?
Even if you go, and I mean, we could talk about a McDonald's. You could talk about
Big
Five
Mac
Guys.
is freaking $14 and
with
you
a
get
meal,
nothing.
with a meal of
Right.
soda in it. So if you take it into you're having a quality burger that you said is one of the best.
Yeah.
To me, I don't think $21
No.
is nothing to
Well,
shake a stick at
that's-
anymore.
Dude, I remember I told you I worked at McDonald's when I was a kid. Those patties, I swear to God, the regular cheeseburgers, their patties started out this big, like my hand as a kid. Now they're fucking 2 inches in diameter. Like, and they still get $3.
Who started that?
Who's
Where's
the
your
idiot?
beef? Where's your beef?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Buffoonery.
Yeah, the buffoonery, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's just, I mean, I think that's a big part of like restaurants today, in our area at least. I think I'm starting to hear from restaurant owners I never would have imagined would have said. Now, not that restaurant owner, my experience, restaurant owners are always it's the best it's ever been or it's the worst it's ever been. It's very hard to find somebody that's like, it's okay, we did okay, or that's like honest about their numbers. But today I'm starting to hear from restaurant owners who I never would have thought would ever admit that hey, something's going on. They're starting to say like, holy fuck, something's going on.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on? Nobody can put
good
their
or
finger
bad,
on it and say
right.
this is why we're suffering. They're just saying like, hey, we're fucking suffering and we don't really know what's going on.
With that being said, let me ask you this question, and this is just my perspective on that. You take a freestanding restaurant. It's I would love to say the name because I think they're an outstanding establishment. I love the owner. One of my very good friends who's passed used to be the chef there. You take this place, it's been open 30 years. In the 30 years time, the only time that I knew the name of the chef was when Jan Gami was there. All right. The restaurant always did. It was very consistent. It's a great atmosphere. You go in there in the wintertime, fireplace, beautiful bar. Everything's great, right? But you constantly have a change of chefs. The food is always very good. The owner makes his attention to detail. But you constantly have a rotation in the kitchen, right? Right now, the rotation is god awful.
Yeah.
We are shorthanded at the seafood house and the steakhouse. We're down a guy at each place. We're coming into the busy season for us because of the fair coming up. I mean, I know it's in a couple months, but nationals, we're shorthanded. There's no one to be found.
Yeah.
You put an ad in. It doesn't matter where you put it.
They don't even show up for the interview.
Exactly. They'll make we'll be there, and then they don't even show up.
And they're getting paid more than ever before.
And more than what they should be getting paid, regardless of it was before. And that's the thing.
Most guys would be at 17, 18 bucks as I'll take it. Now they're at 23, 24, and they're the mediocre at best.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are realizing that things are changing within their own four walls, and it's because of the staffing issue.
Yeah.
I mean, when COVID hit, do you remember how many times you'd actually see signs on the windows saying,
everywhere,
please understand that we're understaffed, please be patient? It hasn't changed. We're still shorthanded. How are these places like Amazon open up and employing all these people? Where are these people coming from?
Is it just, I mean...
well, it's lack of talent. I mean, that's no offense to Amazon's. I spend a lot of money with them.
Yeah.
It's a no-brain fucking job.
Yeah.
You go in, you toss a box in a fucking car.
Yeah, but
there's
you
32 steps. I know, there's 32 steps to make one fucking calamari right.
I understand that, but
the
what I'm saying
concept
is
of the brain,
passion in the food, that just disappear. People don't want to cook no
listen,
more?
this goes deeper. The still waters run deep in my mind. This goes deeper than just shortage of help. This goes deeper in my mind of shortage of fucking people that have a work ethic, who actually find something that they love. I had a conversation with him at the breakfast table this morning. And I understand, I comprehend, and I get this. Okay, why would I give a 2-week notice to somebody who's going to fire me at a restaurant? Well, let me tell you why, motherfucker. The reason why you're getting fired is because you suck, or you did something wrong. You just don't walk in one day unless the restaurant's closing and be like, "Hey, you're fucking done. You're fucking done. This is it. This is an AC Delco out on fucking Thompson Road where they're downsizing 700 people. You're getting fired because." You were constantly late, something happened, or maybe you're just a douchebag and you're the toxicity cancer.
Unless it's a chain or something like that, where you're getting written up or this, that,
that's
you
the
get
motif.
more opportunities.
But that's the motif for these kids these days. They don't believe they should give it 2 weeks. Now, I don't say, you do whatever you want. I don't care. But if I've treated you well and I say, hey, man, let's take this from the black, this to the white, gray, this to the gray, this to the white. That's how I do things. I want you to work on one thing from each section, each category. So it's only really 2 things to move up in generalization to get better and better. Because I don't want you to focus on all the 40 things that I want. These are the first 2 that I really need.
Once you learn 2,
I give you 2 more, right? Yeah. So it's always a progression to get better. I had a chef once tell me if you waste 10 seconds 60 times, you wasted an hour. Like the math isn't right, but whatever. I understood his metaphor.
Did you argue with him?
No, I did not. I just knew he was stupid.
But it's been with you for 26 years.
Right.
Oh my God! You see what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's how come we work together. I didn't work for him. I would have killed him. I would have jumped right off the corner.
My point is, it goes deeper than that. I just looked at him and was like, "You're a fucking idiot. That's not the right math." And I understood the metaphor. All right, whatever. Who cares? The problem is the mindset of this generational thing, and I call it generational curse because it is. As we progress as a society as a whole, like electronics at your fingertips, all this shit, everything else goes out the window in my mind. You don't call somebody anymore like you used to. You text them, or you don't even fucking text them. You put on Facebook or Instagram, hey, buddy, I love you, let's meet up, right? Instead of actually reaching out to them. It's the same theory and concept in my mind, different variable.
That's how come I took you out for breakfast this morning for Father's Day, just so you know. I did reach out. I didn't. Did we text each other for Father's Day?
Yeah. No.
Okay, but
the first thing I said to you was
Happy Father's Day.
Fuck
and
off.
I bought you breakfast.
Anyway,
I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I didn't know it was cash only. I was planning on buying you breakfast till you text me you're going to buy me breakfast. And I'm like, cash only, you're paying now. Fucking piece of shit.
It would have been my Father's Day present.
It was. So
I got one coming. We got to go to the hamburger joint.
If you want to go down fucking the rabbit hole, it's not that there isn't talent. What hair?
The one hair. I said the one hair.
You got one fishing string right
there. You like that?
So listen, that's what it is in my mind.
From the tall hat.
That's
what I said to him. Did you not hear that when I walked in? I said, I got to wear a hat next time I come here.
It's shiny. I'm blind. What the fuck? So
the lighting here is making it look like it's sit on it.
Listen,
there's a lot of hair up there. It's just great.
Jamie told me to stay on fucking track today.
Yeah, focus.
Did you keep fucking interrupting me?
Was it an hour if you wasted every 10 minutes?
You just wasted 5 minutes of my life.
Because you're going down the rabbit hole.
No, you did. I'm telling you, this is like 2 grumpy old men, but one's grumpy, one's old.
Talking about?
Yeah.
Remember what we're talking about?
How stupid your one fucking fishing line looks.
All right. One kid, someone comes in a restaurant, and we're going to do a 3, 4, 5 course.
That was fucking 45 minutes ago.
I'm going to do the first course, you do the second.
I'm not doing that
we
anymore.
We didn't even cook it yet.
No, I already got a recipe in my mind, though. I got the menu in my mind.
He said he's got the recipe. He's got the recipe. Is it something that I should do?
No, it's not. If that's what the case it is.
All right, let me ask this question.
Bring us back home.
I'm trying to finish the fucking statement.
Nobody remembers. Nobody knows where you were.
Yeah, I was gone.
I know sort of the generation of chefs that came up with you. But who are the others that were in your generation that came up with you?
So first and foremost, I mean, I'll talk about your dad, Robert. He never worked side by side me, but the talent and the restaurants that he's worked in were outstanding.
Oh my
He
God.
does have great food knowledge.
Better than Campbell's.
So when you were first getting started.
Jan Agami, who used to own
Here.
Lador.
Here.
Oh, but when I first started
Here.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Cookie, I thought you meant here.
No.
No, I mean I
so-
know you came up with like Mike Brown and Chance and those guys.
We're all around the same age. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, even though I'm
not fair.
a
He's from
difference of
Utica.
10
He
years
moved down
old, I
here.
was from Utica, so I moved in here 2001. All the guys that he spoke of are the same guys that I worked side by side. I mean, I was involved in all of the culinary competitions. I don't think anybody talked about Bill Collins. I mean, he was another outstanding
Yeah,
chef. Mary Kiernan. You know, you do have a lot of people out there that are now into the teaching or doing something else with their life. They got out of the
sell
industry.
food now.
But right,
Most guys. They
another one,
transition.
Dark Horse.
That's the green over the
what's his
green
name?
pasture.
Oh my God, great! He used to own to the moon before me. Great, fantastic chef. I used to come out from Utica to visit him. I'll think of it. He used to work at the Dark Horse. Now he sells. He actually, when you said sell food, it made me think of him.
Jessmore?
No. He's very talented as well, but no. This gentleman is my age. Believe it or not, he used to be a really hell of a boxer back in the day. He works for a company selling food. He goes, does the shows and stuff
What are you
like that.
talking about?
He used to work at the Dark
I know.
Horse,
I'm trying to think of it though.
and he owned To the Moon for 10 years.
I
Oh
was-
my
I
God!
was too
If I
young.
had my cell phone, I'd text someone. I'd phone a friend right now. So you take this guy, and when I think of it, you're going to say, as soon as I say his name, you're going to know what I'm talking about. I used to come out from Utica to eat his food when he was at To the Moon. Fantastic, outstanding chef. These guys, Dante's. Hans,
Hansi,
Max. When Max used to be in the kitchen, believe it or not. I mean, when he
before
first
they
opened.
moved over, before they moved downtown,
And I would go in there, and he would, I would just say, make me something. And I mean, outstanding chef. These guys, when I came into the Syracuse market, I went to every single restaurant and said, I'm opening up a restaurant. I was moving from New York City at the time. I took over the Old Lynn Court Grill. We turned it into a place called Giorgio's. And I met all these guys. Eamon Lee, I introduced. I told you the stories. I was right next to Eamon Lee on Burnett when I was over there, and I told him, you ever need anything? He called me up one time, wanted salmon. I didn't have salmon. I sent my dishwasher to Price Chopper, picked him up a whole side of salmon and gave it to him.
That's what you do, though. That's what you
Someone
do.
called me up and said they need a CO2 tank.
Done.
It just was done. If
I got it, you got it.
Bring it to you. The camaraderie of restaurants back then, in my eyes, we stuck together. Someone needed a box of straws. I didn't care what it was. You need something, I'll give it to you. If you give it back, I'm not worried about it. I was actually friends with all these people. We all went to each other's restaurant.
Hung out, drank.
I don't know if it's because we're getting older. I don't know if it's because time's changing.
No,
but I'll tell you
because
right now,
everybody does
I
the
haven't
line
had
that. They
anyone
don't
call
have
us, over at, and say, hey, can we borrow this? I know we have it.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different, and I don't know why
It's the same theory as what I was just saying with the texting. The family, it's not the same nuclear, or I'm
Agreed.
sorry, extended
Agreed.
family as it was before.
See, now we came back to the
guys get shut up. Guys
You're
grit
right.
their teeth to even call you to borrow something because it makes you look like an idiot. Because when I was at Bellevue, listen, I had 1,700 items that I was responsible for ordering between the whole campus. Like that's
Well, you got three different. You're running three different.
right, but at the
four.
same point in time, you had the ground skies that I was responsible for. Like nothing big, garbage bags. That place went through 40 cases of garbage bags in a week when we were hitting max peaks. Like that's $4,000 almost right there alone. Like that's a lot of money for just these Bev naps. They cost 27 cents a piece now. They were 4 cents.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed in the process to produce them except the hourly rate goes up now, right? So who cares? But that's where I'm going with this is like that camaraderie, that brotherhood, that I hated the UCF as a passion when I was a kid. I'm like, because I was a young, arrogant, piece of shit prick. Oh, look at all these old guys. They're holding each other's dicks and saying, oh, you got the best veal parm. Oh, you got the best veal parm. Like, bro, it's fucking veal parm. Shut the fuck up. Do something real with it.
Yeah.
And that's how my stance was when I was younger. As I progressed throughout my career, I lost a little bit of that prideful, arrogant side. I'm so prideful and arrogant.
I'm very
that
thankful for that.
Yeah, fuck off. I'm so prideful and
I really am.
And thankful.
I really am.
Well,
he stepped up his cuisine and he gave up his ego, and it made a difference in the kitchen.
This guy can't remember anything because he's fucking in diapers already.
I'm back in diapers.
So you get to do recipes you did 30 years ago.
Hold on a second.
See, you can't even move.
But that's
Sean,
right there. I just
I smell it.
Yep,
Jesus.
thank you. I want you to know that you're 100% correct. But even if someone called me up, I never felt like,
oh, what these kids are now though. They don't want to admit that. Hey, I missed the fucking 6 cases of fucking 12-ounce plastic cups.
So then you're just gonna be.
Who am I calling that's got it? I'm calling 6 other different restaurants and take 1 case from each restaurant because ain't nobody else got 6 total cases to give. I don't care about the pride like that. Some of these kids now, they're like, oh, I should have called you. I ran out of. I have fresh salmon all the time at the restaurant, and I break it down whole, not a side. I actually break it down once or twice a week or a month here and there. So I get the scraps, I get the bone, I make the stocks, I make the miro, I make all the veloutés out of it. You can't even buy fucking whole fish anymore from vendors because they don't supply it because nobody wants to fucking do that.
Yeah.
So well, no one. It's not that they don't want.
No.
They don't have the knowledge to actually break something down because coming up through the range in the last 5 years, they've learned everything was IQF.
Well, I'm not talking about the 5 years. I'm talking about in general. Like, who's going to take the bones and make an actual velouté out of it? You and me. And 5 other guys
there's
that I know.
5 other. Yeah, there's I'd say
5 other guys. But and I'm not saying that they don't want to do it, they can't do it. But when it comes down to this, I've always ran a restaurant, right? If it was yours or yours, doesn't matter if you're a chef or a piece of shit. That money that I buy the food with, I told you my theory and philosophy. If a vegetable's going to die for me, I'm going to use everything that I possibly can. It's the same theory across the board.
Agreed.
And so if I buy a $5,000 truck with your money, or my money, it's still the same thing in my mind. It's my money, and I'm trying to maximize it. Because one thing is if I maximize that money all the years.
He borrowed my truck one time, brought it back to me, no gas. It was a full tank.
He's such a fucking
My
liar.
question is, $5,000 truck. It don't matter if you have I understand your point. I understand your
You guys
point.
keep talking. I gotta take a piss.
Listen,
Grab me a water, please. I'm done with this
I understand your point, and I think it's outstanding.
He did this on purpose. Let's hear us rattle
I know.
at each other.
I think it's outstanding, and I love the fact that you said
No,
that.
these kids don't care about
process,
that. They buy IQF because A, they don't have the talent, let alone the knowledge to do it.
At the
And they're
end of the
fucking
day,
lazy.
At the end of the day, the only garbage that I ever had in my kitchen.
Yeah, it was me pooping in your fucking
Come on,
in your
I'm being
bag.
serious. Would be anything that was left on a person's plate coming back if they didn't want to take
Correct.
it home.
I understand that.
We talked about this before. Onion skins you use,
Everything.
the celery. The
But that's
thing
how
is, the
we were
stocks,
trained.
I got people.
I train these kids like this. They still don't give a
They buy
fuck.
mirepoix frozen.
I mean, I know.
There's no flavor to it.
Well,
my question is where's it coming from?
Yeah, it is.
It's not from the U.S.
It's the fucking.
Where's it coming from?
It's H2O water's got flavor. It's coming from
Agreed.
China.
It is. But what I'm saying is we're cheapening up everything
MSG.
and using all this other product from other places,
Dude, this fucking
making
carpet
more
feels
money.
good on my
It
feet.
is nice.
Holy shit!
That's
This
what I
table,
was-
he got this from
I heard you say that you
Marketplace.
wanted it
I
for a
want
dining room table.
Yeah,
it would look
$250.
great with some nice lion legs, though. It would.
What, you talking about my
It would.
chicken legs?
And anyways, I saw that you took your shoes off.
This fucking feels good though. The carpets feel great. But no, that's all I'm saying is like that whole.
That's gone.
The camaraderie's
Can you
gone.
teach that?
Family?
You think you
No,
can teach
you
that?
can't even teach that to your kid, bro. Sundays. What was every Sunday with you?
Oh my God.
Grandma's pasta. Grandma's fucking bread. So every Sunday.
You know what though?
I can't even get fucking 3 of my family members to shit in the same house, let alone sit in the same house.
You're right. We did every week. It was either a Sunday dinner or sometimes. I mean,
It could have been a
This is when I
Tuesday.
was a kid. 15 or Friday nights we'd all go out. You know, excuse
You
me.
did this on purpose. I'm not stupid. I'm dumb, but I ain't stupid.
Oh, please. He said that a couple times, too. No, it is the truth. I do miss that whole part.
Ant,
but-
what's your time frame that you got to be done though?
Like the next 15.
All right,
All right,
that's
perfect,
fine.
perfect. Listen, there's got to be some deep-rooted questions that you have. I got to be honest with you, Ant. You know, I've known you, God,
I'll lock up if you wanna leave.
since
You got a full bar. I'm ready to
2001.
go.
Since I moved here, I met your father,
Yeah.
and I've known you, your family, and your family's always been amazing to me. Like I mentioned, your mom helped me out tremendously. Your father and I have been personal friends for quite some time. I've watched him go through a lot of different, levels in his life, different places, and different concepts. When he started the whole, we do the Grubhub and all that stuff now.
Oh,
he was one of the guys
the
the founders of that. I mean, his brain works in great ways. I know that we've talked several times about some different restaurants. I said I was going to come in and help you out. We were trying to figure out some different things, but I love this. I watch this quite often. I follow you. I think the Eat Local is outstanding. I think it's an amazing thing that brings the community together in a different way.
Yeah.
When you offer it, and I asked this question because I never asked this and I don't know this about it. So you have all these different restaurants, and how it works is whatever. But are you able to track one person of how many times they go into a specific restaurant? Because we used to have something like that. This is going back years ago, and it was tracked on someone's phone.
Yeah.
And I think that it got banned or something like that. But what we were doing with that marketing tool is if they shared my restaurant and they shared Francesca's, we would offer them a 20% discount for each place because we would do that. But then all of a sudden it was like, well, how are these people knowing that we're here? You know what I mean? Because it was based on a cell phone because we had a little computer thing at our host stand that would...
So this is my last year of doing the Eat Local card. I'm going to completely dissolve it. So my business is set up in three things. I've got Eat Local New York, right? Is the whole umbrella company.
Right.
I've got a marketing side of the business. So like 8 or 9 restaurants hire me to manage all their social media for them.
Okay.
Take their pictures, make their videos, post for them, reply to comments, all that. That's the only side, that's the main side of this business that makes money. That's what I pay myself with. That's what pays for all this shit.
Right.
The next side is the Eat Local card. So 150 restaurants from New York City to Buffalo accept the card. And then I sell, maybe $7,000 worth of the card every year. Okay. Then there's the influencer side. So restaurants and travel, companies reach out to me. Hey, how do we get a post? Most of the posts I just go out and make a post. Sometimes I'm like, all right, restaurant in New York City. I'm not fucking driving down to New York City to try your burger for free.
You got to pay me.
Right. And then there's the podcast. The podcast doesn't make any money. So
not yet. It will.
So
it doesn't. It may not make money now, but it's getting your name out there.
Yeah.
And it's making people recognize. Listen, the Eat Local card was something that was huge in the beginning, right?
It's brilliant, though.
And the thing is when people see how you talk about restaurants, it's always positive. It could be an experience that was outstanding, or it could be an experience that wasn't outstanding. You still don't talk negative about anyone. Neither. And I'm watching it for a long time.
But we had this podcast. It's not New York City where you got 10 million people, right?
Agreed. Right. You never want to piss in someone's cereal. But my point being is these little podcasts, when people see that over and over again, that you're constantly positive and we shout names of restaurants.
Yeah.
You're doing
it. I want you to finish your statement because I want to know where you're going with this.
So I'm going to get rid of the Eat Local card because for a couple reasons. There's 150 restaurants on it. I'm like 100 of them are here in Central New York.
Right.
As I've gotten more popular through social media, through like my Instagram account, as I've gotten more popular there, I get more and more hate. I mean, in the past month, I've had
we talked about it a little bit last time,
I've got like 4 local restaurant owners who are just like, "Hey, fuck you,"
It's all right. Envy's just a son of a bitch, man.
And maybe part of it is like, all right, here's a great example. I'm sitting here, we're recording the podcast. You mentioned, "Oh My Darling" would be included in like the great restaurants from 5 years ago. If I want to be an honest person, I say they were when they first opened, but they haven't changed their menu in 5 years.
Right.
But then the other part of my brain is thinking, fuck, they're on the Eat Local card. I don't know if Ryan and Leanne listen to my podcast. I don't know if some other prick, not that they're pricks. I don't know if some prick is going to listen to the podcast
and take it the wrong way
and say, Ryan, text Ryan. Did you hear Anthony said you haven't changed your menu in 5 years? He was bashing you because
that's not bashing you.
No, I understand. I understand
You take the retreat. Yeah. The retreat does phenomenal numbers.
Yeah.
Do they change their menu?
No, but they don't.
But everybody knows what they're getting. They're going to go in, they're going to have a good meal, they're going to have a good drink, and they're going to have fun.
Exactly.
So I'm being honest with you. If somebody doesn't change their menu, doesn't make them a bad person.
Not at all. And listen, Oh My Darling does not exist to. They're not waking up every day saying, "How can we
reinvent the wheel?"
They're saying like, "Hey,
how can we make money? How can we make money?"
And listen, when I have family or friends from out of town that I know live, like my sister's in Nashville. First place I took her to, Oh My Darling, because I'm like, hey, this is not a Syracuse restaurant. This is a big city restaurant. It's gorgeous inside, great ambiance, cool menu, and that's cool. But my point is, when you, and this sounds like such a douchey thing to say, but it's the truth. When you get when you're as prominent as I have become, I don't know of a non-douchey way to say it because it's the truth. When you get as many followers as I have, and
it's
people
man.
Are starting, all of a sudden now I have a target where somebody's going to take what I said about Oh My Darling. It's a great restaurant.
Take it out of context,
and they're going to say,
because
"Look at this fucking asshole."
You know what? It's not necessary, but it is necessary. There has to be.
It doesn't
fucking matter. If there's a good, there has to be a fucking bad. Polar opposites is how we were raised as a society, and that's what it is. I might not say your burger was trash.
Yeah.
Right? Because I respect the guy that owns it, and I respect the chef. I also realized that, hey, maybe that burger sat in the window for 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
But you know what? One thing you've never proclaimed to be is a food critic, which I'm not a fucking food critic. Yeah. I could criticize. I'm not a critic. I don't have a following to do it. Yeah. But my point is, I realized when I was younger, too, I made a bad Facebook post 15 years ago about a restaurant I went to. I was pretty buzzed. Yeah. And I said, this fucking place is fucking trash. Yeah. And there was like 500 fucking shares. And it was at 2 in the morning. I was... shouldn't have texted, said anything.
Yeah. I always think that once you start drinking, it hits any time past 11, shut your phone off, bro. You got to shut it off.
Dude, I was mad. And the reason why I was mad is because I ended up meeting the guy that was a chef and the owner at the time. Just randomly at a bar. We're friends, and he goes...
Do we not have freedom of speech?
We do, but that's where I'm going with it.
But people then take it out of context.
You don't want to... Listen.
I understand the negative publicity. I can get it.
I'm pissed off because people that have a restaurant, a lot of the times... don't deserve to have it. Yeah. They don't. I'm being honest, right? I've I have endured pains my entire life, financially and otherwise. Some stupidity because of me, some not, right? Whereas I sit here and Kevin and I've said this all the time, I was envious and jealous when I was younger because, as I said, I don't want to take a chance on certain things. And I'm sitting in my head, I should have taken a chance on that, because when I look at a restaurant like Oh My Darling, who is doing okay, well, I don't know their books, don't give a shit. Yeah. But if you haven't changed your menu in 5 fucking years, there's one of 2 variables to do it. A, your chef is inconsistent. You can hit the the ball out of the park on the mark with this food. Well, I'm not saying shitty or not because I've eaten it. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I think
it's nothing wow factor, but it's fucking good. And for Syracuse to have it's fucking good is not bad because for a long time it was fucking terrible. And I'll be honest, and I don't give a shit. I will pinpoint, and I don't. This is the thing about me and him. I don't care.
You can say anything you want. You're getting cut right now. You're getting cut out.
No, I'm not. I'm just not going to talk shit about it. I say I won't mention their name, their restaurants, but there is people that I've literally gotten fucking fist fights with because they think their food's better than yours or mine or this or that. I'm like, bro, I want to feed that to a fucking pig, and pig eats everything.
Yeah, and I don't know if they've. They may have changed things on the menu, but having said that, they do a great job what they do, right?
Exactly.
And but anyway, so I want to get rid of the card because I want to limit the amount of restaurant owners. I want to limit the amount of restaurant owners, and I'm not going to start like talking shit. And all of a sudden, I'm going to be like,
"You're off the card."
All of a sudden, I'm going to be like, "Hey, fuck! I can say that you suck now." I'm not going to do that, but I'm never going to start talking shit about restaurants.
There's cordial ways to do it.
If I go to a restaurant and I don't like the food, I just don't post about it, right? But now, if I get rid of the Eat Local card, which doesn't make me a lot of money as it is, then I limit restaurant owners. I just had a restaurant owner like 3 weeks ago, Christian up at Brewery Union. I get an email from him saying he was on the Eat Local card, and he sends me an email saying, I've had 3 people come to me that said that you've been talking shit about me and bashing me behind my back. Fuck you. I want to get off the Eat Local card.
Done.
So that's exactly what I said. I said, heard, you've been removed. That's all I responded with.
So let me teach you this.
But I don't need to like. I'm listen. I don't know who they were.
You keep your fucking mouth shut.
I won't say nothing because to me this is something that I can't voice on because I
agree, but I don't at the same point in time. The reason why I don't agree anymore, right? Because I was that fucking guy.
Yeah.
Oh, your omelet was great.
Or the guy that said something.
I was both. That didn't say something and then did. And you know what? One thing I've tried to teach my 12-year-old son is once you say something, you write it, right? Words are the most powerful fucking thing in the universe known to man. That's why God made the tower of whatever.
Yeah.
Babel, right? Who gives a fuck? Once my son says something with a silver lining tongue or writes something with a silver lining tongue and it's heard or read, it's no longer yours. It's gone. So I try to teach these fucking retards that work for me at Bellevue for the last 4 years. Hey, listen, I said this. And I will tell you exactly what I said. I don't care. I might edit how I say it.
Yeah.
But you get me to DEFCON 3, I'm not going to edit it anymore. And I say, hey, listen, 1 + 1 is 2, motherfucker. So when it hits you, your +1's on it. When it hits you, your +1's on it. By the time it gets back to me, it could be positive 1 million.
Right.
So everybody takes and spins and turns it however they view it and heard it, right? In reality, 1 + 1 is 2. Hey, listen, that egg you cooked was fucking shit. It was overcooked.
Yeah.
That's me telling the cook. By the time the other cook gets it back to him, oh, I can't cook, I can't wash dishes, I can't do that.
Right.
Shut the fuck up, you baby back bitch. Take what it is. You're a man, and I don't care. You're a man.
Yeah.
Stop being a boy, because you're not a boy.
Yeah.
Right? I don't speak in boy terms when I'm at work. My ex-wife and my wife.
Sometimes he does Mickey Mouse voice.
Yeah, yeah.
I really like that. I really like that a lot. I do.
Listen, I made my fucking fiance cry when we had a business. I said, listen to me and stop doing what you're fucking doing like I would to a normal person. I'm like, look at me in the eyes when I'm talking to you because I want this to hit home. Listen. And that's it.
No
And
nookie that night, Aunt.
Yeah,
No
well,
nookie that night.
That was 2 weeks, probably.
So my point is, she listened, and we never had a hiccup ever again.
Yeah.
But I got to DEFCON 4 to even, let alone talk to her like that, let alone talk to anybody like that. You know, it takes me a while to get there. Once I fucking get there, it's like taking a bottle of soda and going, bye-bye.
There was a time, this is like 3-4 years ago, I forget the year, but we had a snowstorm in Syracuse. Like, we got like a foot overnight or some bullshit, right? And I had a Tops donut in my hand. I bought, like, I'd gone to Tops and, like, snowstorms coming, just grabbed food. I was like, hey, we're going to be here for 2 days, honey. Let's go buy a bunch of comfort food and stay home and watch movies, right?
Right. The best thing ever.
So it was like at night when the snowstorm was coming down really hard, like 8 o'clock. I go out with the Tops donut Boston cream in my hand, and I have my phone, and I bring the donut up, and I crush it in my hand and smush it around and then just drop it on the street. And the caption of the post was, when someone brings you a donut that's not from Glazed and Confused, right? Just
Nice.
Like, I love
Could have
Glazed and
been
Confused.
anybody's donut, didn't matter.
Right. It was just like, hey, here's a
Don't want
positive
it.
little post for Glazed and Confused. I like Paulie. He's a great
he's a
guy.
great guy.
Love Paulie.
And immediately the hate, like the comments, even from like this one, I forget his fucking name, this one chef who was like commenting, I can't believe you would waste food. There's starving children in Africa.
Oh, my
like,
word.
All of that
And
kind
you
of
should
shit.
be like, I live in Eastwood, and I'm
Right.
not in fucking Ghana right
And
now. So-
So for like my wife and I are sitting
Back
there
and
like
forth?
trying to like watch this movie. Like, we're like, we're at 9
Phone's
o'clock.
going
We're
crazy,
watching
right?
a movie. We're drinking some wine, and I'm just getting all these comments and I'm sitting there not even sitting next to my wife, opposite end of the couch.
Not even pay attention to the wife, the movie, nothing, right?
And I'm responding to all these comments like, fuck you, you fucking piece. And I'm like, but I'm saying to my wife, listen to what this asshole said. Listen to what this.
Out goes the movie.
And after like an hour,
That's your entertainment.
after an hour, she like turned the movie off. She's like, are you really this upset
Yes, I
over
am.
fucking
'Cause
people on this thing?
When it messes with you because you aren't that way, and it hits a note in your heart of hearts, then yes,
But-
you get offended.
what I've
I've
learned
lost
is,
that heart of hearts. I don't care anymore.
right, it still bothers me, but from that moment, I'm like, I can't fucking explain myself. Like, what am I going to do? Respond? And then the Christian went and made this big Facebook post about me the day after he sent me the email. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? Respond to it? Do I really want to
Feed into
waste
that,
more
right.
of my time
Takes a lot
responding
more
to these
energy.
people?
I
For
think there's
negativity
a
than
caveat
positive.
around that. Sponsored by. you did that.
Paul Valenti, sponsored by Fuck Shops. And then it goes on with Paul.
And the thing is, like, you're giving a shout out to someone, but it's
Right. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
and you're
you
not
should
getting
say.
paid, but that
Right.
covers you. My point being is,
I want
everyone
to
has
play
the
the
freedom of
food.
speech. You can do whatever you want with that donut. I don't care if you use it as toilet paper. I don't care if you threw it at someone. I don't care what you did with it.
Yeah.
But you're doing something to make a point, to bring sense to the
Yeah.
Glazed and Confused, which is a great place, right?
Yeah.
My point being is if someone can't see that, A, you're having fun, A, you're doing advertisement, and they have to go crazy like that, is there validation in what they're saying?
Fuck no.
And it's very hard for you as a businessman
Fuck
to
no.
not. Listen,
That's all they are. Is fucking bird chirpers on a fence.
I understand that, but in a restaurant, as a
Oh, you
restaurant
throw a
owner,
donut out.
in a restaurant owner,
Let me go and look at your trash
you get
can,
one
chef.
complaint and
I
500
know.
praises. What do you remember? The one complaint.
Yes, for sure.
So I do feel where you're coming from, but in the
Yeah.
same token, eventually you do become a little bit more calloused.
Yeah, for sure. And that's
Or
And I hate
just
to see
yeah,
the
yeah.
turn
local
into, I don't
disappear.
give a
I really
fuck anymore.
I know,
because
but
buffoonery.
But I will say this: like, if I make a post, if I go to a restaurant and I make a post and the video does well, like I've got a restaurant in Rome right now. I've made 2 posts for them in the past 2 weeks.
the sandwich shop. Is it the sandwich shop?
Yeah, that Italian divorce
Look at
sub.
him. Oh,
Awesome place.
So we're doing it as like a
10,000
campaign.
shares.
But he said,
Slice.
but he
It's
said,
called- I can't-
oh, slice is good. But
That's
this
the one
place
I'm
is
thinking of.
crust.
Crust.
Crust is doing the Italian divorce sub. It's meatballs. And,
Italian divorce?
What's the one with the
That's
capicola?
a
I remember you
nice
putting it on there. I had to
name.
go have a ham capicola, something, roasted
think I
peppers,
finished the
pesto.
story,
It was
Jesus.
awesome. Go ahead.
I'm
Go
joking.
ahead.
Anyways.
I just remember to say I
They
was
get all
hungry.
excited over like a little puppy. Calm down.
I
calm
love
down.
capicola.
You
I
know, it's like so
Guido
like
in my
Amore
veins.
Pizza in Liverpool.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody tells me you got to go check them out. They got a $1.50 slice.
Yep.
Go check them out. Make a video. A month later, a guy runs into me in an event and says, "Hey, I just want to say fuck you." I was like, "What the fuck did I do?" He's like, "I went to Amore Pizza every Friday night, 20, 30-minute wait tops. Now it's a 2-hour wait to get a pizza because so many fucking
Who
people
gives
are
a
going
fuck?
there." Right, but I'm just saying.
Call ahead, you
if
fucking fat
if I
piece of
make,
shit.
I know right now that if I make a post for a restaurant,
And get views.
that it's
Hey, right here.
either 5
I need
people,
some help. No, I'm just kidding.
either 5 people or 100 people. Crust in Rome, 2 posts, 150 sandwiches they've sold this month.
Yeah.
So I know that I can do good that way.
Yes.
The eat local card, I don't fucking know, and I don't fucking
All right.
care. anymore.
So
Okay.
then let me back up. Let me back up because you're going to chime in on this. I want you to
will
back
not.
up.
You can't stop.
We're going to go
The
back
whole
to
oxygen in the room's gone because of you.
2001. Okay. 2001.
Oh,
there was a
God.
woman by the name of Yolanda Wright.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last great
No,
food
that
writer.
is not your.
Okay.
That is
My point
not
being-
your food critic. Don Z is your. I was thinking about this in the shower today.
Don-
Like that son of a bitch.
Don
That's all he
Kazantri.
wrote about.
Don was fantastic.
No, that's all he wrote about
But
was you.
That was
Nobody else.
after Yolanda.
Doesn't matter.
But what I'm saying is, Don comes out, he eats
paid
at
him.
restaurants.
He fucking
was
paid
Yolanda
him.
was Yolanda a food critic?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Was she a trained?
Well,
Has she
no,
ever have any
no, no,
culinary?
no.
She called a caperberry an olive. Did she have food knowledge? Food critics are people are
Yeah.
bloggers, people that talk about it. I know you know food. You cook. You're it's in your blood. My point being is there are people that are food critics that when they want to crush a place because of their followers, they can crush it.
Yeah.
You're not doing that.
Right, yeah,
You're not in that,
Like a
that field.
Ratatouille. I'm just saying, good movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Love that movie.
But Yolanda was the
God.
Stop.
Yolanda
Stop.
was the
No, don't.
Yolanda was the last one. Margaret McCormick, but I forget what time Margaret McCormick was at Syracuse.com. Margaret McCormick is a phenomenal writer and
great
editor.
writer.
Yeah.
But the last one that I know of at Syracuse.com that where people were like, "Oh fuck, Yolanda's writing about us,"
Yeah.
was
Right.
or if "Oh fuck, this person's writing," was Yolanda at Syracuse.com.
Yep.
Charlie's a
Excuse
good
me.
writer. You know, Don
Yeah.
does a good job.
Don- yeah,
Jacob
'cause I-
Pucci
yeah.
does a good job, but. None of them, and admittedly
No,
so,
no,
none of them
none
are
of
out
them,
there
yeah.
trying to be critics. They're food
Yolanda did.
reporters.
That's what I'm saying. Yolanda didn't give a fuck. If she gave you a
Yeah.
bad review, listen. My mother always said this, and my dad. You know, sugarcoat it like this. If you want to slap, you put the whipped cream on both sides of the hands. You go. You get the inside is good, right?
Yeah.
So you give a little sweet, sour, and sweet. Yolanda did the same thing. Oh,
Yeah.
the chicken française was outstanding. That's the lobster bisque, on the other hand, tastes like dirty mop water.
Yeah.
So she gave you the sweet and the sour,
Yeah.
and if it was all sweet, it was all sweet. If it was all sour,
It was
she'd
bad.
still give you some sort of decent, like, oh yeah, the maitre d was great. We know what that means. Don't fucking go to the restaurant, right? If that's the best part, is your hostess.
Do you
But-
think? All right. So, final question.
It's also not New York City or Boston, like what I've said before. There's 10 million, 8 million people. There's 7,000 restaurants in New York City alone. Like, you have a plethora of places to pick from. Here, we could create a campaign called the Three Amigos, Go Fuck Yourself, and we could bash 7 restaurants, and within 3 months they'd be closed because, A, you have influencers yourself, 2 chefs that be like, hey, listen, I've been in that kitchen. You don't want to eat there. There's a bunch of those places.
It's not in my blood. It's not
But
in my
it's not in my
blood
blood.
to
But
do,
I will
to do
talk
that.
shit. To your face, though.
You're definitely a shit talker.
I will to your face.
You're a shit talker. You know what?
Fuck
you said
you.
something
You
about
text
Ratatouille. Yes, I do. You said something about Ratatouille,
It's
right?
Ratatouille, not
Ratatouille.
rat-tat-tat-tat.
I love that. I love that show. You remember last week,
movie.
you guys, or when you did your other podcast, there was a thing that you said. This came from Ratatouille.
Yeah, I know.
The phrase "the customer." Did you? I was
I was
say
waiting
that
for
to
you to. No, I was waiting for you to pick that up. Actually, the customer isn't always right.
Customer's
Bob.
always right. And it says that reflects your taste and your sophistication of your morals. Okay? I remember seeing that in that show, and I was like, God, I got to send that to him. And I never sent it to you.
Yeah, because it was past 11:30. You were in bed.
I was in bed. I was in bed.
I was
The
in bed
diaper
by
was changed. I was
12:30.
nice and warm.
I came over, gave him the
Warm milk.
warm milk and cookies.
I had the
Here you go, let's
bean
scrub
bag in
to
the microwave for my back and my neck.
That's
What was your
hilarious.
last question?
I think
That's it. We're gonna end it there.
We'll save it because I think he just kind of answered what I was going to ask.
I was going there. I saw it.
Yeah.
Buffoonery. You know how many people fucked with me on that? They thought your word was my word.
No.
Yeah, not you. I'm
No.
saying, a lot of people text me. I got strife over a lot of things I said on that,
Really?
and I'm like, listen, I only remember about 5 minutes of that show.
I know.
I was kind of nervous, but I wasn't. I don't care. Like, listen, if I'm getting ready for 500 covers on a Friday or Saturday, nah.
You'd be
No
surprised.
offense, but some guys sit up here like,
Yeah.
You'd be
know-
surprised how many times I have one of my best friends will text me while he's listening to a podcast. Man, you said that, and I really agree. Or I can't believe you said that. And I'm like, I have no fucking recollection
Right.
of what the conversation.
But
was
that's the best part. It's because you got entangled with, you got enthralled with, you got lost in the moment. Whereas everybody
Yeah.
takes a phone out and gets lost on the phone. Like, I watched it twice. I still don't remember anything except that open line that you put up there. That wasn't even an open line, but it was.
This is why I don't listen to my podcast.
But you know,
after I record
I was
them.
curious. I actually had this question lined up for you. I was going to ask you, when you have a podcast such as like this, us,
Yeah.
Charlie Miller, or whatever, do you get hate email for like the people you have on, like why you got that fucking loser on there or this or
No.
that? No, really?
No, I mean, as many
might
people
be a first for that too.
As many people.
You might get some emails. Holy shit, he's still alive?
The only one that I had where I got hate for, and this one, like, you know, I probably still have to answer for it a little bit. There's this guy named Paul Jackson, lives in Syracuse, and he has this fucking move, like whatever fuck thing he calls. It's called, like, I don't know if he still does it, but it's called like Fair Wage Syracuse. So his thing is, Cornell came out with some study that said
Excuse me,
a
sorry.
single person, no kids, living by themselves, the fair living wage for them is $14.29 an hour, which I don't even know what minimum wage is now, but I think
It's
it's
not even
that.
$15, I thought, right?
Yeah.
There's
But
15
But
bucks.
his thing was every restaurant employee should be making at least $14.29 an hour. Okay.
Which is, that's not bad. I
Right.
mean,
nowadays
it's terrible.
I mean, nowadays, who the fuck isn't making that? But so for like 3 years, he would DM restaurants and say like, "Do you pay your staff a living wage, $14.29 an hour?" And if they said yes, he'd be like, "Great, I'm going to put you on my website in the good restaurant category." If they said no, or if they said, "I'm not going to respond to you," he would start leaving them bad reviews. He would message them 20 times a day. There was a restaurant owner who went into premature labor by like a month and a half because of the stress she received from this guy just DMing her. Even though he has no effect over anything, I had him on my podcast to sort of like gotcha to him, because at the time I thought his living wage was like $20 an hour. So I was gonna be like, dude, fuck you. You have no idea what you're talking about. He comes on the podcast and he's like, yeah, the living wage is $14.29 an hour. I'm like, I don't know of any restaurants who are
especially
paying
nowadays, right?
less than $14.29 an hour. Anyways, when I had him on the podcast, I had quite a few restaurant owners who were like, fuck you. I can't believe you had that guy on the podcast. You know, that guy's hurting restaurants, I was like, look, I wanted to have his perspective.
What's hard in restaurants is the restaurateur not paying anybody.
Yeah.
Paying your staff, because that's who you make money off of. It's not the restaurant guy.
Yeah.
I told you before, the most two people that can make or break a restaurant is the hostess and the fucking dishwasher.
Yeah.
Hostess
Agree.
oversees-
That I'll
if-
agree.
If the hostess oversees the fucking the restaurant, we're
Yeah.
fucked. If I can't get dishes to plate or pans to cook with, I'm not the most important person.
Yeah.
The proprietor just pays everybody, right? He's got a concept, an idea, unless he is the working chef. That's different. But
Not too many restaurants that are like that.
Not too many restaurants that can even. You guy can't even go do the fucking fryer.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, we just did 2,000 calamaris this week. You're paying this guy $12 an hour.
Yeah.
He just made you $7,000 profit.
Yeah.
Right.
This week, and like that's a whole different sensitive subject. So
Yeah, so I don't get any hate from like who I have on. There's times I've said stuff where people are like, "Hey, that," like where I've said dumb shit, but not too often.
and yet again, you're getting called out for it. But we got rambling Joe Biden who can't even read a teleprompter correctly.
I mean, listen, I don't prep for any of these, and I try to be careful what I say on them. I don't ever bash anybody that I keep on the air.
Right.
I
don't either, but I'm just saying I'll sugarcoat, but I won't edit anymore.
Yeah.
I lost that fear of that because how many times you've been told you had a bad dish and you're just like, well, I didn't even season that. I didn't put any salt in that. It's too salty. And it's like, dude, I know I didn't season that because I let all the accoutrements speak for itself, especially when there's pancetta in a dish. I'm definitely not seasoning it. You all right?
Yeah.
Cramping?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We're out of here.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
This is
I appreciate it.
I mean,
This is fun.
Yeah.
Glad you got your 5 minutes of fame.
I would be more than happy to come back in again, probably
yeah.
before the 50. I mean, this took 53 years for me to come in, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully it's
That's
a
not
lot
fair.
sooner
He
than
hasn't
that.
been alive 53
I'm
years.
only kidding.
there you go.
I just wanted
guy.
to throw that shout out about the age because you said I was such an old fart with a diaper on.
You're 11
Anyways.
years older than me at this point in time. Oh, that's right. That's right.
I know. I love it.